Malacanang says the law must take its course as the police served warrant of arrest against embattled Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin says Quiboloy is answerable to the law.
He is answerable to the law must take its course. Meron namang process niyan.
On August 24, around 2,000 members of the Philippine National Police raided the compound of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ at Buhangin District, Davao City. According to Davao Police Regional Office Director Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III, Pastor Apollo Quiboloy is believed to be hiding inside the Kingdom of Jesus Christ compound. Department of Interior and Local Government Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr. previously announced that a 10 million peso reward would be given to anyone with information leading to the arrest of Quiboloy. Quiboloy and the 5 co-accused face child abuse cases before the Davao City Court. He also has standing arrest warrants for human trafficking issued by a Pasig City Court. Former President Rodrigo Duterte has called on Filipinos to pray for peace and justice as he criticized the police for what he called its abuse of authority and ignoring people's rights in its ongoing search for televangelist and Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Apollo Quiboloy at the group's 30-hectare compound in Davao City. In a statement, Duterte, who is the designated administrator of Kingdom of Jesus Christ's frozen assets, denounced how the Philippine National Police, through Davao Region Police Chief Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III, forced their way into the compound, which supposedly led to the death of one of its members and injury to others. However, the police said the alleged victim died of fatigue. Duterte added that he sympathizes with the members of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ for having become victims of political harassment, persecution, violence, and abuse of authority. The former president appealed to who he called remaining decent and patriotic government workers not to allow themselves to be used to be abusive and violent in enforcing illegal orders. Duterte also asked the current administration how it can preserve the constitutional rights when even the fundamental rights of Filipinos are being violated. However, some House lawmakers criticized Duterte's statement. Manila Representative and Human Rights Committee Chair Bienvenido Abante Jr. called Duterte's actions in defending Quiboloy's rights as ironic, while the former president attached very little value to human rights during his administration's war on illegal drugs. Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte also condemned what she called gross abuse of police power in the ongoing search for Quiboloy in Davao City. In a statement, the Vice President apologized to members of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ for seeking their support for President Bongbong Marcos, who was her running mate in the 2022 elections. Sara Duterte added that Filipinos deserve better. However, the Vice President clarified that she was not opposed to the implementation of any lawful warrant of arrest, but she emphasized that the use of violence against the innocent Filipinos and devotees of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ was unacceptable. The Vice President also wondered if the unnecessary force and unjustifiable abuse on ordinary Filipinos was due to the fact that the person of interest in the raid was a well-known supporter of her family. 5 China Coast Guard ships fired water cannons against a Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources vessel for about an hour and rammed it 6 times near Escoda Shoal in the West Philippine Sea on Sunday, August 25. The China Coast Guard ship with bow number 4202 first fired a water cannon at the port side of the vessel about 20 kilometers from Escoda at 1:46 p.m., but it did not directly hit the fishery agency's vessel Datu Sanday. The water cannon from the same China Coast Guard ship finally hit the vessel at 2:13 p.m., 2 minutes after a China Coast Guard ship with bow number 21551 rammed and damaged its starboard side. Minutes later, the China Coast Guard ship that first rammed the Datu Sanday also fired its water cannon at Datu Sanday's starboard side. At times, the China Coast Guard ships simultaneously fired their water cannons, targeting the port and starboard side and the communication equipment of the vessel. There was no let-up in the firing of water cannons until 3:02 p.m. Members of the media, including a reporter from the Philippine Daily Inquirer, were also aboard the Philippine vessel. According to the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, the communication and navigational equipment of its ship were damaged. Some of the windows and ceilings were also damaged, and a wooden chair was cut in half due to the impact. The ship also suffered an engine failure, aborting its humanitarian operation to bring supplies to fishermen at Escoda alongside its maritime patrol there. A crew member of the Philippine ship, who has joined several maritime patrols and has been exposed to water cannon attacks by the China Coast Guard, said this was the worst incident he had experienced. A People's Liberation Army Navy ship with bow number 626 and several China Coast Guard vessels attempted to encircle and block the Datu Sanday several times, even as the Filipino crew issued at least 26 radio challenges telling the Chinese to stay clear of their route. Meanwhile, the National Security Council disputed Beijing's claim that Philippine personnel fell overboard and were rescued by the China Coast Guard while on their way to Escoda Shoal. According to the National Security Council, the China Coast Guard was geared towards obstructing the mission to resupply Filipino fishermen with diesel, food, and medical supplies. A Philippine Air Force fighter jet patrolled the West Philippine Sea last Friday, August 23, according to Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief General Romeo Bronner Jr. In an ambush interview, Bronner says the FA-50 also practiced its flare capabilities. This comes as China once again used flares against Philippine aircraft on August 22 during its patrols over Zamora Reef and Scarborough Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. According to Bronner, the flares signals an escalation, but he also says China is also doing the same to other countries.
Pero hindi lamang sa atin ginagawa yon. Pati sa US ginagawa nila, pati sa Australia ginagawa ng China yung pag-release ng flares. No? This is a form of warning the other side.
Bronner says that the firing of flares against our jets is dangerous. Nonetheless, Bronner says that the country has flare capabilities.
Meron tayo, we have flares. No? In fact, nung Friday, ako po ay sumakay sa isang FA-50 natin at nagpatrolya kami sa West Philippine Sea. No? At tinesting rin natin yung flares natin. Gumagana yung mga flares natin. So we have that capability, but then again, because we follow international laws, hindi natin ginagawa yon sa iba.
According to Bronner, the country continues its patrols over the West Philippine Sea, emphasizing that the country is in the right position over the waters and is backed by international laws.